All right, guys. So we've got a new battery thrown in the Talon. When the last time we ran it, when we picked it up from auction, it was running on.
Hi. Say hello.
A little interruption there. So anyways, when we picked it up from auction, it was running off jumper cables off of Josh's truck. So we think the battery is completely dead, hoping that's what it was. I got the battery tested at Batteries Plus, and they said it had 1 volt and wouldn't hold a charge. So got a new battery, thrown it in, hoping it's gonna run off of its own power now, and then we could go make sure all the gears work and stuff like that before we get it tore down. So moment of truth, let's see. We're gonna let her warm up, get some heat in the engine, and then make sure that the gears work, do a little ripping. Probably not too much because the steering is kind of bound up and stuff, because the way it's all tacked back together, it's not legit, we'll call it, but hopefully can see it go through the gears and actually drive instead of just move a foot backward and a foot forward. Alright guys, well, it appears that the gears all work. That was low, that was high, it was automatic and manual transmission. Just kind of wanted to shift it through the gears. I didn't go through all of the gears, but that was shifting through 1 through 3rd with the paddles. And then when I had it in auto, it was shifting, bouncing limiter. It runs good. It runs great off the battery now. It's not dying like it was when we picked it up from auction, so that's sick. Aside from that, we are going to get Trader pulled out here and grab the Talon, drive it in here, get it up on the lift, and then I'm gonna start tearing it down. I believe Billy's on his way here, so he hasn't seen it at all yet. We'll get his first reaction. I don't know if he's gonna be hyped or if he thinks we're idiots, but he was down on the Talon idea as well. At least that's what he told us. So what he really thinks, I don't know, but we sat down with him before we made the decision and talked to him, talked to Josh, and when we were on our trip in Kentucky, and that's kind of when we made the consensus that Talon was the best move and best thing to do with our money. But that being said, I'm gonna make a video talking about, if you guys didn't see it already, go check it out. Talking about why I chose a Honda Talon for the channel machine. I know a lot of you guys are curious. A lot of you guys think I'm an idiot, but go check it out if you're curious. Lots of answers over there. But till then, gonna get the Talon pulled in here, get it up on the lift, and start tearing it down, see what we're up against. Today's video is brought to you by U.S. Defense Solutions. They are a firearm manufacturer and retailer based out of Indiana. They offer everything from firearm sales, custom shop work, Cerakote, stippling, and specializing in the AR-15 platform. And also, owner Mike is a fellow off-road enthusiast, so show him some love. Hit him up on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. They're on all the platforms, and it's just U.S. Defense Solutions. And he's actually the guy that's got the KRX in some of our videos, so shout out to him. If you guys need any firearms, need anything like that, you know, it's a crazy world these days, so if you need something, you're in the Indiana area, go show him some love, hit him up, and he'll get you hooked up. Otherwise, on to the video, guys. He said it doesn't look total.
I mean, from afar. Right?
All right, Billy. So this is your first time seeing it. You've seen the listing before we went and picked it up.
Yeah.
You knew just as little as us.
Which is nothing.
Yes. I mean, if you guys watched the last video at this point, you knew as much as we knew going into it. So anyways, I want to see Billy's reaction on this thing. So give her a look-see. I mean, first thoughts?
First thoughts, it looks clean.
Yeah. I mean,
the 21 with pretty low miles. I mean, the plastics aren't even scratched.
On this side.
Yeah, I guess I haven't looked at the other side.
Yeah.
Got some XTRs on it, so that's cool. I haven't been over here yet.
It's not bad plastic-wise at all. Not. But I mean, it's definitely not like 100% like up by the cage up there. Yeah,
it's definitely driven through the woods.
Right, but you know, it's going to see some woods where it goes, you know what I mean? Yeah, so.
That's the worst I see so far. I'm guessing I need to look down.
This is where it gets extremely sus.
What's happened in there, you think?
Well, it starts with all the way down by where all the A-arms connect.
Oh, man. I see. It's never good when there's some paint chipping on
well,
the
that's
main
where
frame.
It's actually decent. So look from the front A-arm mount forward. So like the rear A-arm mounts are decent.
You think those welds came factory? Come on.
I'm betting probably not.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I'll just point out all the horrificness. You can see that tube has clearly been either welded in or patched back together.
Yep.
You can see all of this has clearly been messed with. And I don't think you've even seen the best part yet, but right below the axle, can you see that? Like from the front, behind the mount. Down.
Where are we looking?
The bottom tube, like the frame tube. It's kind of
right here?
Yeah.
Oof. It looks like somebody cut it.
Yeah, so also check out Blownbudgetoffroad while you're up in that area. Full.
Oh, dang it.
It's in the chat, you know. The diff has left the chat.
Oh, the diff has totally left the chat.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's donezoed. So that's thrilling, you know. However, we were told it had front end damage, you know. It's got front end damage.
Who would have thought?
Now,
you know?
in my defense here, who would have thought that someone would wreck their rig, then get it back to the house and be like, I'm gonna Harbor Freight this unit back together, and then turn it into insurance? I mean, why go through the effort? It's rather confusing.
That really doesn't make any sense.
So, like, we never expected it to be this bad. Did I expect that it was possible that it would be this bad? Yeah, like, clearly, there was a reason it was totaled. I was worried it was going to be motor or trans or something like this. So it's like...
Yeah, because really, I mean, from out here...
No.
You can't
like,
tell.
Here's the picture you see off Copart. Like, oh, yeah, it looks sick, you know?
And I guess that is, you know, part of the gamble.
Yeah,
you know?
It's a gamble for sure. Honestly, I'll take what we found over me putting it in gear and it not moving, or starting it and it's running on one cylinder and the other one's hanging out the oil pan, you know, like.
Yeah, it could be a lot worse.
So that's kind of where. So the passenger side is the worst side. The driver's side is not too bad.
Oh, there's some more boogers on the top.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I got some boogers up on mine too, though. It's my shock ripped off. Oh. Really? Something to work with.
It's nothing a fab project.
Yeah.
You know, like, these guys don't know, like, what we used to mess with.
Yeah.
It was Jeeps where you rip your frame off when you're trying to get pulled out of a mud hole.
Yeah, and you just weld it back together.
Yeah, literally.
For the next trip.
And then it breaks a foot past where you just cut it because that spot's rusty too. You know, so it's like, we came from fabbing and stuff. I actually enjoy fabbing, you know.
Yeah, it is. It's a good time.
Yeah, so I don't know.
All our rigs are done, so this will be a fun thing to tinker with. You know?
Yeah, I think so. But
it's fixable. Everything's fixable.
Everything's fixable, you know. botch it completely terrible, I mean, you could put a frame on it if you really wanted, and it'd be fine, you know, literally.
Yeah, really.
But there's definitely no sense in going that route first. Might as well try and botch this frame together, and then when we crinkle it in half, when we rack it into something, or trying to hit some ledge at like 40 and it buckles, well then it might need a frame. But and now I have zero intentions of putting a frame on it at this point.
Yeah, I don't see the need to. I mean, we can take what we obviously know what the weak points were at some point, so now we can take it and brace it and
yeah. So we're gonna
fresh.
I'm gonna tear it down a little bit, and I'm gonna show you guys in more depth with some plastic off and stuff what's actually bent and broke and missing and etc. And then I'm gonna kind of tell you the game plan. So I've already got some stuff ordered to get this thing on the up and up. And I'm gonna let you guys know on all that once I get it tore down so I can kind of explain it. All right, Billy, before you go, now that we've tore into it a little bit, thoughts?
It's fixable.
That's always a plus.
Yeah, I mean, just needs a little fab work. Obviously, all right, so obviously we're gonna have to kind of go backward before we go forward just because it seems like someone else has been fabbing on it, but I mean, it's fixable.
Yeah, I'd agree. You know, the more you dive into stuff, the more little issues you find. And as we tear it down more, I'll really dive in and show you guys exactly what's bent. But as of now, we pulled a bunch of plastics off. Plastics come apart super easy on this. Front clip, hood, all that stuff, just a couple bolts, really.
Yeah,
a couple clips, and we were able to get all that stuff ripped off and get a way better look at this. You know,
a majority of the damage is on this side, which is good. You know, if you come over here, it looks all pretty good. There's a couple things that may be a little tweaked, but it's nowhere near like what this side is. So I think once we straighten this side out, should be a-okay.
Yeah, so basically what he's saying is it's pushed in here. And obviously it's hard to see this stuff on camera, but the shock tower is pushed in here. So this bar is kinked and someone just welded it back together. And then the lower bar, like the main runner down here, it's hard to show, but once I get it all pulled apart and stuff, I'll really show you guys better. But essentially this is all tweaked a little bit in too. But the passenger side, it all looks straight. Really all of it looks straight on the passenger side, or driver's side, sorry. Which is really good news because, like I said, I was gonna give you guys a little game plan on how we're gonna go about fixing it. So we've ordered up a lower Gusset Kit from SuperATV, and that should, once we bolt it up on the driver's side, which is straight, that should give us where our passenger side points need to be for our arms. So that'll, you know, our game plan as of now is to try and bend all of this back the way it is, pretty much, like leave it all connected as much as possible. Pull this side back to where it'll be basically lined up as close as we can, get it lined up to the SuperATV Gusset Kit, and then go back and cut out stuff that needs to be cut out, or re-gusset, re-weld and gusset and add more tubes and things like that to spots that it seems like, what would it be, energy would travel. So like, for example, just quick talk, you know, we'll put a piece of angle iron across here and we'll run some new tubes just as a quick discussion to either down to here or to this tube to gusset this whole shock tower. So then essentially these tubes will bend back in place, and we're going to do some gussets and things like that, but instead of chopping this whole thing off and starting over, we'll kind of leave those there to bend it back and get the geometry back to as close as we can. You know what I mean? It's not a road course car. It's not a street car. Yeah. It doesn't need to be a perfect alignment.
And it's not crazy bent either. I mean, what did we measure out? It's pretty much, we were thinking it's probably about an inch pushed back.
Yeah, so the wheelbase on one side is about an inch shorter than the other side, and that's the passenger side is smushed in, like we were saying, about an inch.
And that's also with some bent A-arms as well. So that could make it, you know, it could only be that the frame moved like a half an inch.
Which I don't know if that was ever shown, but as you can see here, that A-arm's cracked, and this is cracked, and they're all kind of smushed, as we've been saying, that way. So that brings me to my next point. We ordered SuperATV upper and lowers for both sides, high clearance. I mean, I think it's the only one they offer. Yeah. But we ordered their adjustable A-arms. So went with their Gusset Kit and their A-arms. So that way we can get the whole front end kind of squared away. The A-arms are adjustable on the frame side, so then we should be able to adjust the camber where we need it to be to get it back to as good as we can get it, basically. And that's the kind of the gist of it there. So I'll say the rest of the build theory, or I don't know, the direction we're going with this project is leave it stock until it breaks, or until we've at least learned what it does in stock form.
Right.
So I wouldn't be doing A-arms, but I have to do A-arms on this side. So I'm not gonna spend, you know, X amount of dollars on stock stuff when I could buy the adjustable high clearance stuff for a little bit more money. I still am going the budget route because, you know, these videos are paying for it. We don't make millions of dollars here. So we're going the budget route. We're getting the SuperATV stuff. We've looked into it. They have good stuff. They have bad stuff. That's a known thing. It seems like their A-arms are going to be good. So we're gonna roll with it. Get this rig back together is the plan, using that stuff. I'm not sure that we showed, yeah, we did show the diff in the last video, but the diff is definitely blown. Go figure.
I tried to tell them about the power steering motor clip.
I didn't. So that's something I'll dive into more for sure and show you, but it's definitely a hard spot to show.
Once it's out.
But the power steering does not work. When we picked it up, I don't even think I mentioned it because it was barely even running. So I wasn't sure if it was from low voltage causing that, or if it was, you know, another issue like we found. So we found basically a plug. I wouldn't say it's the main plug because this is clearly the main plug, but it's like I'd say the steering wheel position sensor, you know.
Yeah.
I'd assume some sort of sensor of that nature. You can see it here.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe it adjusts, you know.
Yeah, like it's telling you the output or something. But anyways, that plug is broke off the bottom of the motor there. So it's hard to tell with it in the rig, but once we get it pulled out and stuff, I think we'll be able to like resolder some leads or put a new connector on. Probably not that easy, but we should be able to get that fixed up without replacing the motor because the motor is really expensive. But like I said, trying to keep it on the budget theme and get this thing back in the trail, you know, cheap as we can. And also, I feel like it's cool for you guys to see like what it takes to put a total rig back together. But yeah, the radiator fan is just MIA. That's depressing.
Otherwise, you'll see the budget friendly way to make it work.
That's probably what you'll see.
Yeah, probably.
But
that's worth a shot.
Yeah. Aside from that, we've got a diff on order. Ordered up a new OEM diff. I told you about the A-arms. Told you guys about the Gusset Kit. So going forward, probably going to be putting this thing on hold. Going doing some traveling. Billy, I think, is going riding.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Supposed to be.
Yeah. So other than that, well, the next video you'll see on this thing, most likely, is going to be it getting tore down and doing some bending back and some fab. So look forward to that. But until then, see you guys in the next one. I just want to show you guys kind of the first look at the damage and a little bit of a game plan and get Billy's reaction since he wasn't with on the adventurous journey that we were on when we picked it up. So it runs, it drives, that's huge, which you guys learned in this video. I learned in this video, basically. So
it's a good base.
Yeah.
It's a good starting point. Could always be worse.
Yeah,
so
that's
you gotta
for sure.
tell yourself.
So another thing is you guys seen in the video of why I chose the Talon. Billy wasn't here when I filmed that, and Josh was actually questionable with the COVID these days. So I filmed that one by myself, but Josh was 100% on board. I think you guys probably kind of caught that when we went and picked it up. We talked about it a little bit, I believe, but we talked to Billy before we went down this road, and I mean, coming from you.
Yeah, I mean, what other real options were there? Club Limiter's back, baby.
What more do you want? You know, I already talked about all this, but I assume you understand it's not going to be more capable than that.
Yes, I mean, we're not comparing our fully built, 50K rigs to our clapped out total Talon that we just picked up. That's not the point of this. It's just something different, cool, fun. You know, we don't really see many of these out on the trail. We can do like a full review. We all been interested in them since they came out. Like there's, I don't know, and it's got a limiter. So
come limiter, baby. So that was the last thing I wanted to touch on in this video. If you didn't already see it, check it out. They're going into a lot more detail on why we picked the Talon, but like I said, Billy's not there for that video, so I wanted to get it coming from him because, you know, it is a whole group thing, and everybody's input does matter. So anyways, have a good one. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.